Now, welcome to this edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in the Mendham. And yeah, sorry, not much is happening. Summer vacation, sort of. Distractions. Maybe I'll just say that. There's always something to do with the summer anyway, to make your life livable, maybe more tolerable. Um, so I do those things. And yeah, so still spend plenty of time thinking and pondering. Just don't spend as much time talking about it. And part of that is because, yes, it's not very effective, me talking about it. So I have to find a better way to do that. And I suppose you have to work for that, in the sense you'll have to harangue or harass people for the opportunity to talk to the popular folk. Um, and so, maybe I have to do some of that. Try to get on the Joe Rogan show or something. Uh, yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, would it matter? I mean, it's like the sort of like the drunken peasants thing. You could say, okay, I could probably, if I did work at that, I could probably get that done. And but what good would it do me? I mean, they sort of know who I am, the audience, and they're not interested. That's just the truth. They want their reality fed to them by really bad, really really amateur comics. Um, in this whatever. Uh, I don't even know what to call it. Gurgitation. you know, uh, I mean, these fake personalities. Um, I mean, I could do Ed. Um, he's funny, and he gets to the point eventually. But yeah, no, it's just. Oof. Anyway, so yeah, it's just another lament video, about the idea of communicating with people, how you make anything mean anything, and how you get even a rational platform for an argument. So I've sort of run into that with this physics thing. It's sort of interesting because there's two sides, right? There's the people defending the conventional science, and they're fanatic, and then there's the class of people who are on this other side, which I'm sort of a member of, the opposers. I have a better thought. And yes, everybody on my team, so to speak, is a lunatic, a fucking insane lunatic. I mean, psychopathically, truther style insane, just completely impervious to any idea that the truth could be what isn't what they're defending. And so they're like the God fanatic who just won't accept evolution, won't accept any facts. The scientists are all liars. They're all working for the devil. This kind of crap. And that's a shitty side to be on. But yes, it's an interesting position to be in, because you can't have a conversation with that. Everybody's a fanatic. They're not, they're 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 not doing this in any kind of, like, you'd almost say they're not doing it in an honest way. They're not honestly saying, okay, listen, I have my personal biases. I want the truth to be certain things. But yeah, you show me the evidence, and if it's good evidence, okay. I mean, I wasn't incapable of being convinced OJ was innocent. You just had to give me like a reasonable story. And there was, there's just, in that case, it would be impossible because he wasn't innocent, So I can't think on the top of my head. I can't think of something where I was proven, you know, catastrophically, completely backward in how I was thinking about something. Because I suppose I've been cautious enough not to believe in things that aren't supported by much evidence, beyond wants and desires. I think I've been honest to capitalism, even pointed out some things like capitalism might not be so bad if it just got rid of the inheritance component. It can't do too much damage. It's just the legacy wealth that breaks the game, because all the stuff the ill-gotten gains remain ill-gotten gains forever, and that breaks any mechanism of a reboot or a fix. And so the capital just grows in the hands of a tiny percentage of the population. And so yeah, I mean, but you have to do that. You have to sit there and reflect and say, okay, how much am I doing what these other assholes? It's so obvious what these other assholes are doing, which is just being belligerent fanatics. Just I don't want to hear. I don't want to know. I don't, they just don't want to hear about it. They don't want to think about it. Because it's not part of their story of what means something. Kind of like when you try to explain to sports fans. Well, just think about it for a minute, and try to make a comparison between what you're doing and what some, doty housewife did when she watched the stories, the soap operas, the afternoon soap operas on TV. How exactly is what you're doing and what they are doing different? Something like that. And then maybe people will say, hey, you're right, I'm just addicted to a stupid story. What is Dr. Whammer going to get laid? Is it going to hit a home run? It's the same kind of silly, voyeurism. And but they just don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that something that they've got in their brain as being important isn't really important. And as I keep pointing out in different ways, the argument really isn't catastrophic. Like, even if you admit it's, oh, you're right, I'm a fucking girly man watching a soap opera, so what? So you admit that, oh yeah, I get it, it's an addiction. I'm going to continue to be addicted until it really soaks in, just how stupid it is. But till then I'll be addicted, because I really care about Jordan blah blah blah, or Freddie blah blah and his career. I'm hooked. What's the big deal? So you admit it, yeah, and you accept the fact that you have a psychology, and it compels you to think stupid things are important, while you walk on the skulls of the dead and the tortured and the, and you can figure that out. That, oh, okay, yeah, I can see this is all kind of psychology shit, and these are real, humiliating distractions from the agenda that should matter, which is preventing this harm stuff and such. And recognizing that you're just caught up in a bunch of addictions, and you want the story to finish. You're like some kid just saying, well, what about the happily ever after? You didn't say happily ever after, or something. You're waiting for the, how does the story end? Does he get the green eggs and ham, and then what? Does he get a brain tumor and die? What happened next? And life doesn't provide those finishes for anybody. So yes, you're too old to fall for happily ever after, and so you're stuck. You want to see how it finishes. You don't want it to, can't stop in the middle of the movie and say, okay, end of the movie. Well, what do you mean? It's can't give it end of the movie. The movie didn't, there's no happily ever after, there's no finish, it's not tied up, there's lots of loose ends, lots of questions. You can't just end the movie there. So, it's a problem. So you sort of have to manufacture a good movie, in the sense that you have to finish it, in the sense that you create enough of a, some sort of conclusion that's sufficient, where you just say, oh yeah, I'm past caring now about the rest of the people. The person I care about's dead, so movie's over. That you almost have to kill. That's why they do that, right? They kill the main character just to say, well, it's the end of the movie, because you didn't care about anybody else. So, no real loose ends. you know, and that's really how we live. You can see it in people. Their loved one dies, and that's that. Fuck that. So that just popped Snake Plisskenist into my head, unfortunately. I mean, his latest video is some tripe on love. I haven't watched that yet. I'm still like 5 or 6 videos behind. I just watched one on some principles crap, or the only moral something. And it's just, the only moral rule, right? So you think this is going to be something deep. And some mush, like, don't betray somebody who trusts you. And so the first thought that comes to mind is, it's okay to betray other people, though, right? Betraying isn't the problem. It's somebody who trusts you. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Some innocent person who doesn't know you, why should you betray them? And even if somebody who knows you and knows you're distrustful, why should you betray them even? Why is betraying even an option? Why even bring it up in any context? It doesn't need a context. You just say, don't betray people. That sucks. Right? Right. But it certainly wouldn't be the only moral rule. I mean, that's just, shit. That's silly. Yeah, that's what that is. That's silly. If you wanted to say something, don't do anything dishonest, and then you would just say that in the context of you couldn't lie about, you're selling something, and you're just reselling it. You bought it from somebody else, and so you wouldn't be able to lie about the fact that, no, if you want to get it for half the price, don't buy it from me. Buy it from the same guy I bought it from. Yeah. So if you could, you might be able to engineer some simple rule, but that would have to be contextualized with some sort of small print that explains that, no, this doesn't mean you can, and it doesn't mean you can do this, and it doesn't mean you can do all these other catch-22 bullshit things. But yes, whatever. So the title of the video, The Only Moral Rule, and it's mush. It's just mush. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you're living on a planet where every day you're essentially contracting to fuck other things over, to enslave people in other countries and murder animals and doing all of this kind of stuff. And the only moral rule, no, there's a bigger, more expansive only moral rule. And it probably has something to do with you have an obligation to, in the processing of your life, to prevent more harm than you cause. That might be the only moral rule. That's your obligation. If you came here and you caused more things to suffer than the pain you eliminated, so you caused more pain than you prevented, then you're the failure, and the failure is the moral oops. That's a transgression against being what you need to be something that doesn't get pissed on. Kind of obviously. So, other videos, it really haven't been, Warple's on a lot, just, sometimes he goes on about, his family and his kids, and, I come to the rescue, and I saved my daughter's phone didn't work, and I fixed it from, thousands of miles away, and blah, 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 blah. Please. Eek. Anyway, don't need a video on that. The kangaroo thing gets tired. Crackers to kangaroos. Yes, seen it, done there. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. So I guess I'm guilty of the same thing, though, as I've done flowers in the garden. Just the same stupid bullshit. Garden really hasn't done anything interesting. It's okay. It's nice flowers, got stuff. But no hummingbirds, and the butterflies haven't even shown up in any kind of number. There's a few praying mantises roaming about, so, maybe I'll get some good video of them. But I have been a little disappointed because I have cameras ready to get all this great cinematography of the wildlife in action, and there really hasn't been much action. So, yeah, not much to report. But yes, lots of tomatoes growing and things happening, so that's all good. And yeah, not bad. But anyway, yes. So I really can't talk about being boring because I sometimes am boring. But anyway, at least the background is boring. Maybe. But yeah, it's not the subject of a video, so I guess that's the difference. I do have more to the subject. My conversation's a little deeper than crackering the kangaroo, so I guess that's it. So if Warble was doing some preaching about his life-affirming trite philosophy, I might give him more points for not wasting my time. Yeah, maybe that's it. His silly what comes around goes around bullshit. He thinks people on Earth are actually getting what they deserve, which is quite laughable. So anyway, shouldn't even brought him up. And then there's the tranny types. You got that gray text, and then the whatever contra thingy points, and it's just it's too distracting to have tranny syrup on everything you're talking about. Sorry, it is a distraction. So maybe eventually everybody will just like tranny syrup on everything, and so it won't be a problem. But, right now it's just it's like pouring, I don't know, beef gravy on ice cream or something. It just doesn't seem right sometimes. And hard to get past the distracting element of it. But like I said, I'm all for it. I'm just saying, just take some time to make it not unusual. Just like the colored hair thing. At first, people with pink hair and blue hair, it was too distracting. But that wore off pretty quick. So some things wear off fairly quickly. I don't know if this is going to wear off quite as quickly, just because our whole the mechanism of our male-female biology is a little bit more rooted than stupid expectations about whether somebody's wearing a beard or not. It's like Paul's ego. I just can't relate to the Arkansas man kind of thing. So it's a distraction. It just distracts. Like, why am I listening to some idiot who can't figure out he looks like a fucking tree sloth's ass? I don't know. But anyway, it's all how you wear it, I suppose. I mean, some beards are quite fashionable. There's some banjo guy, ukulele. Some guy who plays the ukulele. What the hell's his name? I mean, I should try to remember that. Old guy. I don't know why I can't remember things. I mean, not that it's not like hugely important, but it's it's just kind of important to remember these kind of things. I mean, it's in one of the things on my index page of videos. It's in there somewhere. He has kind of a old man beard, kind of a squirrely looking beard. But anyway, but that's okay because he's doing this hillbilly thing. He's playing a lot of folk music and on a ukulele, so it kind of works. And other places it just doesn't work. So I guess that's like the thing with the tranny thing. When you're just doing it mellow, like a little bit in the background, little eye makeup, little stuff going on, okay. But it's like contra purports is just playing with this whole subject of being queery. And it's like, queer on purpose kind of queer. Yeah, and that's a little harder to, oh please. Get a life. Or something that resembles something connected to some issue that's more important than just saying I'm part of the people with 11 toes or something. I'm part of the 11 Toe Club. And you guys got to wear a badge about 11 Toe Club. Wear the 11 Toe Club. You have a picture of your foot on your shirt. You constantly stick your one foot with 6 toes on it in people's faces. I don't know. I think it makes sense that people would say, oh, fuck, it's the 11-toed guy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really interested, buddy. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to bring in presents, you know. So yeah, I'm not gonna invite you to the party unless I know you're bringing really good wine or something. Um, and nobody's providing that, so that's really the overriding subject is that I can't listen to almost anybody because nobody is saying anything useful or insightful or intelligent. And it's just this tedious process of just waiting for the little ball of puke to fly off of the screen where they're going to say something just so fucking stupid and you're going to go, oh shit, I have to go over that again, because that's all there is. There's just everybody just says stupid shit. I mean, no one is saying anything where I go, oh fuck, I'd never thought about that. Nobody's saying anything at all. Ooh. I'm enriched. I don't. Nobody. They're stealing my neurons. They're not empowering them. Not feeding my brain. They're starving it. They're poisoning it with horrible, stupid thoughts and silly distractions and meaningless mush. Yeah, so that's a problem. For interacting with people, when you just find everything that comes out of their mouth to be another retarded pile of drivel. Oh, fuck. I have to argue every word and every sentence because everything they say is just crap. So anyway, yeah, it just kind of takes the edge off. So, anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm just continuing in the processing here of my life. So I did a whole bunch of the physics arguing this week, comments and such, and like I said, I find a huge parallel between the two subjects. In the sense that here you're attacking some, just, they have cemented this thing in 4 million different ways. This pro-life thing is so cemented into culture. Not only by God, but by the mystics like Piro and everybody out there. They're just cementing this pro-life mush into reality, as if we're doing something spectacular, and it's all worth it. And it really doesn't matter how much torture there is because only sissies worry about that. That kind of fucking bullshit. And the physics thing is the same idea, right? You're attacking something they have just cemented into physics. It's kind of burn my lips a little, smell of vaping, a little skin problem. Anyway, so they're just it's the same kind of rigid, just confirmation bias, just frozen, no, just you have to keep whacking at it and whacking at it and whacking. It's like the hardest ice. And you can only hope that eventually you'll whack it right and it's going to do that fracture thing and big pieces will flake off. But that's about all you can do. But it's frozen. I mean, it's you gotta just keep whacking at it. And maybe it's hopeless, but maybe I'm whacking at a glacier that just ain't gonna yield. But regardless, they're both very. It feels the same when you're arguing something so simple. I mean, in terms of the logic, it's look. There's no expectation. Look, you figured out God doesn't exist, and then you make this mistake of thinking nature knows what it's doing, when logically. The only logical way you can look at it is nature was more likely to do something wrong than right, because it didn't have any way of knowing what right and wrong was. So obviously, yeah, there's so many ways to do anything the wrong way, and only so many ways to do it right. You know, you're making your cookie. There's clearly an infinitely more ways to do it wrong than there are ways to do it right. You could think of it in that kind of way. Even making a flower or something. The flower is a smaller confinement than not flower. And so you got to know that nature's going to make it. This is going to be sloppy, and like I said, it doesn't. You can logically understand. Well, it wouldn't matter. It can make a mess all at once as long as it's not torturing anything it feels, you know. But as soon as it made those feeling things, then you know the game is really dangerous. Because the bus driver doesn't even know what driving is. It doesn't know what a windshield is. It doesn't know what forward and back is. It doesn't know what any of it is. How do you think it's going to navigate the road of acceptable losses? It doesn't even have it's not even as stupid as Patton was, you know, in the sense of, fuck them, they're only soldiers, kill them. You know, it's okay. Hey, we can kill more as long as we win, right? Isn't this about winning? So yeah, let's just, you know, let's get it done. Kill them. Fuck it. I'm just saying, you kind of know that being able to do the value equation, you know, the cost to benefit analysis. Yeah, that's a smart people thing. It's not a dumb people thing. It's tricky, and you know nature's not going to know that trick. So I'm just saying it's very simple. You know, this whole, hey, wait a minute, slow down, pause button. Hit the pause button, and let's figure out whether your life is doing anything good first. And when we're going to have a philosophical conversation about what human beings are doing, let's figure out whether they can have any hope of doing anything useful here. And let's have a rational conversation about it, not this fucking babble about mommy told me life is good. Why do you think God made the world if it isn't good? I mean, please. But it's just as bad. Like I said, the physics argument's just as bad, because you just point out obvious things like, well, you know, push, lot simpler than pull. Pull, you have to have fingers, you have to have all kinds of things to pull. You could cut my arms and legs off and I could still push. No problem. You know, pull, no, complicated, tricky. So yeah, that's what you look for first. And then once you start doing that, let's go look for the push force. Then you'll start tripping over everything. You'll trip over magnetism, and then you trip right into time dilation, trip right into everything just adds right up. But these frozen people, we cannot change our doctrine. It is written in the frozen poo. And they won't even concede the obvious. Like I said, we know that traditionally human beings just drove this whole engine on these religious lies, these stupid fables that your miserable life will be okay because you'll be in paradise. And even after like I said, even after they recognize that's gone, they're still just making excuses to be part of the grind, you know, to get ground up in this stupid machine. Go ahead, you know, stick the edge of your shirts in the conveyor gears, get pulled in and chopped to pieces. It's fun. Everybody says so. This is pathetic. So anyway, it is interesting that somehow my life has fallen into this place where here I am, you know, in this position where I'm arguing these two really incredibly challenging to, you know, deeply and intrinsically and fundamentally held perceptions of reality. And I'm doing it from this position of I am completely confident. I mean, I just, you know, I can't even see any kind of even a slight little glimmer getting over the horizon of hey, Gary, you might be wrong. No. There's no God. Nature's a whore. Sadistic, insane whore. The rules are idiotic. The whole game is silly and stupid. It's just obvious. And the same is true in physics is fucking mechanical crap. It's little bits bouncing around, and that's it. Little force hits this thing that reacts to the force. It reacts. It's all just reactions. It's not even Rube Goldberg complicated. Like, where complex things are really happening, because when you really start breaking it down, no, it's all really simple. It's just buckets full of quanta. It's just it's it's just but I'm just saying, so it is an interesting place to be in this position, and to be also almost clearly the physics thing. It's clearly I'm some kind of fulcrum. I'm kind of some kind of. It's the first time the ingredients got put into the bowl this way and got mixed this way. And on the anti-natalism thing, it's similar in the sense that there's people with vague arguments, but there's nothing as pointed as mine is on evolution and nature and the fundamental structure. And there's little similarities, like where I was always talking about a zero-sum game, in the sense that you're always there's more liability than potential for profit in this slop. It's sort of like the asymmetry argument, that your gains are superficial, vaporous, they'll biodegrade, they won't last, they're not enduring, and your losses are kind of permanent, and you can't fix them, and you can't erase them, and you can't undo them, and you can't, bad stuff. It's permanent. Leaves permanent marks. So even that's interesting, because I'm not like a prophet for some other god or some other, I'm sort of the god of the individual subjects, in a sense. The first domino to fall that way. It really, it's just kind of incredibly hard to reconcile that. So that's one way I can feel, hey Gary, maybe you're completely insane. Okay, the only reason why I would give that any credence is just because it is so simple. Push, simpler than pull. That's a big one. Everybody should have said something about it before. I never even heard a single physicist in all of history. I haven't heard one sort of conversation where they actually said something that simple, like, hey, you know what? Push and pull are like completely different. The complexity of push is just infinitely complex. There's all kinds of, you always have to make something that can hook it or grab it, and then you have to make some device that can do this backward pushing. This reverse push. Where push is just so easy. Yeah, you just bang into it, you pushed it. It's just too easy. And that never happened. And I'm just like, how could I make up something? It's like somebody inventing the donut or something. You're just like saying, how come nobody thought of this before? Right? Something like that, right? It's like the first person had to be like, oh yeah, round wheel. None of you assholes thought of this? Holy shit, you're dumbasses. Right? That's all you can do, is to sit there and just total surprise. What the fuck? How could you have not figured this out? Shit. I have to be the first person to say it? Damn. You be dumb. Alright. That kind of thing. I am just sitting here. So it just makes you... Well, the way I get out of the, hey, you might be insane, Gary, because it's just so fucking simple. And then I just remember, but it's idiocracy. So, yes. It's the land of the retail. We're not in it's not Oz. No, it's the opposite of Oz. It's Zod. And everybody's fucking retarded. Dumb, every single one. Every fucking munchkin's got his little head all the way around and stuck right up his ass. Everybody's just walking around with their head covered in their own poo. And they have no clues. They're all talking out of their belly buttons. Something like that. So yeah, that's the problem. Alright, so that's enough of a story, narrative. What's happening here in Zod. Zodia. Yeah, from where Mendham is on the wall of Zodia, so he's looking down at it and going, oh fuck, not a good place. I need a balloon. Yes, a balloon. I'd like to ride your beautiful balloon thing or something. Your beautiful balloon. What if that was some sort of boob talk or something? Everything's subliminal. Subliminal. It's always a word I have a little trouble with. Subliminal. Never mind. Alright, now that's enough. I'm just rambling in a mumbly sort of way, so no point. But yes, it is work, this whole contrary thing. I'm so sick of it. I'm so tired of it. But it's the only game in town, so I've got to play it. So, till next time. Till the next time, and such. So forth and whatnot. I don't think there's anything else to say. The Glenos was having those room things, but the links never showed up in they always never played the videos because they were private, because I guess the hackers or something, so I don't know what's been going on with anti-natalists and such, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. They just, generally speaking, annoy me too. Everybody's annoying. Even people who are on the right side are just, there's too often they're just totally wrong on something else, and it's like, it just doesn't work for me. Anyway. Yeah. You have to get there's 5 issues or 5 questions. You have to answer those 5 questions correctly. That's what I have to do. I just have to write those 5 or 10 questions. You answer them right, okay, we got no problems ever. Answer one of them wrong, we're going to have problems. That kind of thing. Anyway, till the next time and such.